So I think I've connected the HTML and the CSS file. Let me check. Good. So like I was telling us, the first thing we want to style is this nav. So I'll go to the CSS. I'll go to the CSS file, and then I will call the selector, which is nav. I will say nav. I will say nav. Open your CSS block code. So I want to give it background, the whole of that section where we have the links. I want to give it what? Background color. So let's say I want to give it a dark blue. I want to give it dark blue. Remember that we can check the front end to see how it look like. Let's go to the front end again and check whether the color has applied, and you can see the color. Right, so the next thing we are going to do, we are still communicating CSS. Make sure you are writing your CSS code. Then we want padding. You can see that there was no space. Look up here. If you go back to the front, you can see that this write-up, they are too closer to the edge of this container. So we want some space. So that space, it is called padding. So we just say padding. Let's just add the padding. Padding. So padding is the space between when you have content in a box, the space between it. Just like this is a content now. If this is a content, the space between this content and the borderline here is called padding. All right, so let's just say we are giving a padding of 15 due to the number of space you want to get. And the unit, you can say pixel. So if I go back to the front end now, you see it has increased the width. I hope you are seeing the outcome. Now, that is for that. The next thing we want to do, we want to style the anchor tag, because you can see that you are no longer seeing the color of this text. So let's improve their visibility. So I can say, okay, I'm talking to the anchor tag inside nav bar. This is the meaning of this configuration. When you say nav space A, you are saying that if there are other anchor tag, let's say I create anchor tag here now, it's not going to style this one. Why? Because this one is not a child of what? This. So that is when we normally use this to say that, okay, it is only anchor tag that are inside the container called nav. They are the ones you are to style. I hope somebody understand that. So I can say, okay, color of this nav, color. I can say color. Let's use white. Let's use white. So if I go back to the front end, you see that what we now have the text showing properly. So we are still decorating that. So we can say, okay, text decoration. Now, let me show us what text decoration we do. You see that anytime you create a link, by default, it comes with this underline. So you don't want, that is a decoration. So you don't want it so that the website will look very neat. You just say none, that I don't need that decoration. So if I go back to the front end now, you see that what that underline has gone. I hope somebody is getting it. Can somebody respond back to me? Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Make sure you are writing down your code as I'm writing them. The HTML code, write them. The CSS code, write them, because you need them to do your assignment. Now, another thing I want here is that I want some margin. Have you not observed that this home is almost touching about us? About us is almost touching service. So I want space between them. So space between two elements from the outside is called margin. Space between the content and the box border is called padding. So I will say what? I want a margin of 15 PS. Now let's go back to the front end and check. You will see that what? There is now space between each of them. All right. So now the next thing I want to do here is that I want to create a kind of maybe I want to increase the size of this. If it's not okay, it's part of what we have learned. So I'll just come here and say what? Font size. Font size, I can say, okay, make them 20 ps. So if I go back now, you see that what? They are more visible. All right. Now, let's say you want them to slant as a style. Then you will now add font. You say font style. Font style, you will now say what? Italic. If you go back now, you see that what? So you will now be asking yourself, if they are slanted and the way it were before, which one is better? So because it's about designing, which one we appeal toward to the viewers, because you are not building the website for yourself, you are building it for the viewers. So you need to prioritize your viewer. You need to make sure that the viewers are enjoying the content. I hope we are following.
Yes, sir.
All right, so now we are still developing. If somebody click here, no content. If somebody click here, no content, because we have not created page for each of them. For now, that is not our focus. Our focus is to build the first page. Remember, it's a project. All right, so if you want to add other thing, then you can add that. So for example, if I want, let's say I want, if somebody touched any of this, let's say if somebody touched any of this, it should change to a different color. Let's say I want that. If somebody touched here to change to different color, that is called hover effect. So hover effect is like extra appearance you are adding to your website content that can only be triggered by an action performed by the user. And what is the action? The action is that only when the user touches it, that is where that appearance will show. All right, so now how do we code that? Like I said, it's called hover effect. Just give me a second. Let me see if I can rectify this light issue. Okay, so how do we add that? You cannot write that effect here. So this is how you write it. So this is adding hover effect. So which I call what? Additional appearance on content. Make sure you are writing all this. So the way you call it is that you will say nav, then you say A, and then you put column, and then you type hover before you call your CSS declaration block. Now, the actual color is white, so your hover effect cannot be white. So let's say when anybody touches those link, the color should change from white to gold. Let's assume. All right, and then maybe there should be a background color, but let me just leave that so that we can complete all that thing. So now let's go and check. If somebody touch here now, if somebody touch here, you can see it. When the person touches the link, that is when they will see that effect. So there is an actual effect, and then there is hover effect. And that hover effect can only display where the user perform an action, that is by touching it. I hope that is clear. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So now we want to code the main body. Remember when I started, I gave us the website shape. We have the navigation. It's a simple one because you guys are kids. I don't want to start with the advanced. So just a simple project that everybody can understand first. Now let me come outside this. And then, so you can see, so from this to this is that first box that I drew the other time, which is the nav. Then the body, there was a part I told us that is called the body. So let's design the body section now. All right, so if I'm to write, I can say designing, make sure you are writing, designing my website main body. Designing my website main body, right? So the main body is where you are advertising the main thing. That's what's called the main body. So for my main body, I will use another tag called section. You can see you are learning more tags now. So section is a container. All right. What is the container I use for the navigation bar? Nav. The container I'm using to wrap all the things I have in the main body is what? Section. All right. So I will just give this class in case I use, because we are going to use other section. We are going to use this section multiple times, so that if I want to talk to a particular section, I can talk to that one only. Then I'm not classing it and I will name it what? Hero. I hope we still understand the concept of classing. So the first item I want to put here, I'll create H1 just to welcome them to my website. So I'll just say this H1, welcome to my website. Welcome to my website. All right, then I'll create a P tag. P tag just to explain what I'll do. I'll say what I am learning how to build website, or I'm a website developer. So since we are learning, let's say what I am learning how to build websites. So if we go to the front end now, you can see that our website is coming out gradually. Welcome to my website. I am learning website. All right. So now we are still in the session. I'll put a button there. I'll create a button that will say, okay, if you want to know more about me, go to About Me, because we are going to create a About page here. So I will use button. So this is another tag. You are learning now, button tag. So I will say what? Learn more. So that learn more in website development is used to represent know more about me. All right. So now that is what we want in the main body. You know, it's a portfolio website, just very simple website. So you go to the front end and check. So you have the button here. You have the button here. But this button here, it should be a clickable button. So for that reason, this is what I'm going to do. I will add it in what? Anchor tag. Then I'll take the whole of this. Make sure you write it this way, Control S. I just want to write it inside here so that I can click on it, so that to show me what, so that I can click on it and take me to a different page. That's why I wrap it inside what? This. Then inside here, when the user click on this button, where would they be taken to? They'll be taken to what? A page that you create about .html. So the first thing I will do right now is to create that page here. So I'll come here and create another file. Let me lock up this, click outside. I'll create about. So this is where I'm going to talk about myself very well. But the home page is just for them to get some brief about me. So that about page is what we'll create probably in the next class. But just for us to see if the connection is working, let's just put something here. Let's say I put an image. I will use image tag, and then /, you know how to call your picture. It's like that picture is no longer inside here. So let me just quickly, let me just quickly use H2 here. Say what? About me. So I just created this one so that we'll see whether the connection is working. So now if we come back here now and we click here, you see that what? It took us to what? About. So with time, we are going to create a link here that will take us back to what? To the home page. So if somebody click here, this is what they get. You can see that this navigation bar, we have not designed it in each of those pages, because right now we are just developing only the uh, home page. And when you are building your website, you don't build all the pages at the same time. You take them one after the other. I hope we are learning something. Can I get a response? Can I?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next thing is that I want to style the body. You can see that it's not looking nice, so we need to style it to make it look good, like the way we have styled this now. So to style it, I will just go back to my CSS. I will call the class. Remember, I always use comment styling. I hope you are writing your CSS code as we are switching. Styling the main body. Styling the main body. All right. So the class, remember that in the main body, we class this section as hero. So I want to talk to that container first. So because it's a class element, I will say dot hero. I believe you still remember this. Any class element, if you want to style it, you will always start with what? Dot. Then, what do I want? Text align. It's part of the things we have done. Text align. I want that text to move to the center of the page. Let's go back and check now. You can see that what? Everything has gone to the center. I want it to look nice. It's a very simple website. So you can see that I move everything to the center just by typing what? Text align and then giving it what? Center. Then I want some space between them. That is what? Padding. Hope you still remember the idea of what? Padding now. So the space we want is this. Look up. I want this to spread here. So I want to create space between them. So I will say padding. Let me use 40 ps because I want enough space. 14 ps. Now let's go back and check. You can see that though the space we are talking about is this. Now I want you to watch out. Check something. Take note of this space we have here. Let me temporarily comment delete this so that we see. This is how you learn some of these things. When you apply a command, if you do not take note of what it contributed, you remove it and check again. Then you add it, then you check again. Then from there you know what is actually adding to your code. So if I remove this now and go back now, you see what happened? Did we notice any difference? Who can unmute and tell me the difference? As I clear that padding, what happened? Can anybody respond quickly? Quickly. If I don't call your name, you can be the first person to answer the question.
The difference is the space between the top and the heading. It's
Reduce, Abby.
increased.
It reduced.
Reduced. Yes, sir.
Good. So now let me bring it back. Control Z. Sorry, that's not what I wanted to. Let me bring it back. Then let me go back now. You see that what? It has what? Increased the space. Good. So that is how you can check what each of the properties are doing. Now, I want to give that section a kind of background color. So gradually we are learning some of the command. So whenever you want to fill a container with a background, then you use background color. You want to give a text color, you use just color. All right. So I will just say light blue, light blue. So let's go and check the impact. Can you see what the light blue has given us? You can see that these colors, we are combining them in a way that one is not fighting the other. This is dark blue. This is light blue. They are still one family. So your own now, don't use red here and come and use black here, come and use green. I don't want to see that. Use color that, if it is one color, make sure color that are in one family. Color that, in family, we are not supposed to fight each other because we are one family. So use colors that do not fight themselves. That is what shows that you are a professional web designer. All right. So now we are done with, but there is something we need to style. This particular heading, this one, we want to give it, we want to fine tune it a little. We want to increase the font size. So I don't want to talk to it here because if I talk to it here, is going to affect what? All this. So I want to speak to only that one. Now, this is how I hope you are writing your CSS. So here, styling, you can see the way I'm using comment to explain. Styling only the H1 in the section. I hope we are still learning. Hope we are not tired. Watch now. So styling only the what? The H1, which means that what? In this container, let me go back there. In this container, we want to talk to only this. So if I go back to my CSS, how do I talk to only that one? Look at the way I will use the parent to access it. It's just like you go to my village and you start shouting prosper. Nobody will answer you. But if you shout Eguero prosper, oh, that means you have accessed me through my father name. So now, in case we have other H1 in that page, how will CSS know which one in particular you are addressing? So you call the parent name. The parent where you have that H1 is dot, the one you class dot hero. There, you now space, you now say H1. So what you are directly saying here is that what? If there are other H1 in this website, only the H1 that's inside the element class hero. I want somebody to unmute and respond, whether you understand that.
Yes, sir.
Good. So I will now say, okay, what do I want? I'll say font size because I want to fine tune the size. So I will just say 40 PS. So let's go back and check now whether it has improved. You can see it now, it has improved because I want it to be bold a little. All right. So now if I want to style if I want to style this one to have maybe the same color, what would I do? What I'm going to do here is the same thing. So I will say, I will use the parent. So since I've explained the concept to save our time, so I will just say dot, make sure you are writing all your code, dot hero, then space P, just like what we did now, which means that you are talking to only paragraph tag inside what? The hero class element. So I will now say also font size, since that one is 40, I'll put this one at 20 because it appears to be too small. Okay, just to take it up a little. All right, so we are still coming to this button. We'll see how we can decorate it. So if we want to style that button, what we are going to do is for us to say, okay, styling the button, styling the button, styling the button only. So what I'm going to do here, the button is inside what? Let me check the structure because you need to check. The button is, in fact, let's just remove this. Let's just add the lemon directly inside the anchor tag. There's no point of putting it in the button. So let's just put it here. Let me check whether we still have it. Good. So now I want it to look better, the button. So the next thing I'm going to do in my CSS, I'll say what? The anchor tag inside what? The class element hero, just like the way we are calling those one. So I will now come here, I'll say dot hero, and then a, which means that what? It is only the anchor tag inside the hero because we have anchor tag in other section. So I will say, I will start by saying padding. I will start by saying padding. Padding, I want padding of 14 PS. So let's go and check. Okay, so let's add the, if you add background color, that is when the padding will come out properly. So let me just use this. Let's check. Okay, so you can see the padding properly now. Then the right top, I would say test transform. I want it to be uppercase. That is, all the letters should be. No, uppercase is not fine. Let's put it only the first letter. Let's say if test transform, let's use capitalize. You check now, good. Now we want to change the lemon color to white and then remove that underline. That is that decoration. To remove that underline, I will also type test decoration, and then I will say what? I don't want anyone. There shouldn't be any decorations. If you go back, you see that you have removed the underline. Then I want to color. I want to color it. Then I will come here and say color. We are going to stop very soon so that you can go and master this one. Color, let me just give it white. Color white. So let's check. Okay. So this is good. This is good. I think we have to stop here so that we can go and perfect this, right? That the video will not, though the video has already been separated, so the practical video will be sent differently from the first video. Any question? Any question? So you can see that we have been able to build a simple website. Any question? Any question?
Yes, sir.
So your assignment, I believe you have written all your code. I believe you are writing all your CSS code. Make sure that you do the assignment, right? All right, so see you tomorrow then. Let me see if I can get the video across this nice so that we can work on it and submit the assignment before tomorrow's section. All right, bye for now.
Sir,
Okay.
what exactly is the assignment?
The assignment is for you to create a web page, which is like this that we have developed. So you have to watch the video and replicate everything we have learned. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
That is the assignment. Not to create your own, no, replicate. By tomorrow, I want to see that people have developed something like this. So tomorrow, I'll still continue. We are still going to, we have not gotten to the footer. We are still designing the body. So tomorrow, we will complete the entire page. All right, so see you tomorrow.
Sorry, sir, can I ask a question?
Okay, ask your question.
In my Visual Studio Code, my outline isn't showing.
Your outline is not showing.
Yes, sir.
Can you share your screen? Let me see. Let me stop sharing so that let's quickly resolve that before we end the class. Kindly share your screen. Let's check it quickly. I'm waiting for you. Okay, I think it's coming up. Where is the outline that is not coming up? Let's see, what did you say is not coming up? What did you say is not coming up? Please unmute and talk back to us.